So dear students, in this lecture, we are going to cover the history of Swaraj Party and Swaraj movement. So basically, this was a political party which was formed by the leaders from the Congress itself. And this political party claimed to be part of Congress only. It did not claim to have a separate identity of its own. But why was this party made when already Congress was there? And if these leaders were from Congress only, then why did they not leave Congress before forming a separate party? So this lecture will answer all such questions, that what was Swaraj Party, under what circumstances it got formed, what achievements did Swaraj Party have, or what contributions did it make to the Indian freedom struggle. So let us understand what this period of Indian history is all about. So let's see. As you know that in 1920 till 1922, a large-scale mass movement known as non-cooperation movement was going on in India. Also, side by side, Khilafat movement was also going on. We have already discussed all this. So one unfortunate event happened because of which the non-cooperation and Khilafat movement was called off. So Gandhiji called off the non-cooperation movement on 10th February 1922. Why did he call off the non-cooperation movement? Because of Chauri Chaura incident. Chauri Chaura incident. When did this incident happen? On 5th of February 1922. What was this incident? 22 policemen were burnt by the angry mob. So because of which this was an activity of violence, so Gandhiji had called the movement off. The movement was going fine. Entire country was participating in it. So after calling off the movement, a month later, he was arrested and sent to jail for 6 years. So he was sent to jail because he was held responsible for Chauri Chaura incident. 22 policemen were killed. So somebody have to be sent to jail. So Gandhiji was sent to jail for 6 years. So the topmost leader of Congress is sent to jail for 6 years. So in reality, Gandhiji was freed after 2 years. So he was freed in 1924 only. But that time it was told that he will not be released before 6 years. So now understand the mentality of Congress. The tallest leader is gone. The movement has been stopped all of a sudden. So people are losing hope in Congress. People think that Congress calls off a movement anytime. They ask support from us, and then without discussing from us, they call off the movement. So there is confusion in Congress leadership. Also, there arose the danger of Congress losing its prominence. Why was this danger? Because their topmost leader was in jail. So for coming 6 years, he cannot give any speech, he cannot write any article, he cannot lead any movement. Also, the people are losing faith because you are calling off movement just like that without consulting them. So there was a danger that Congress might lose its political prominence. Also, the general public's faith had to be restored because public was agitating against British. Jallianwala Bagh had been done. British did not do anything to resolve that. So now the general Indian public have to be taken into confidence. So now Gandhiji was already in jail. Many Congress leaders questioned the wisdom of total Gandhian strategies. So now the remaining Congress leaders, out of the remaining Congress leaders, some Congress leaders began to question that whatever Gandhiji does, we follow it blindly. But whatever he does is not good for the party. So they began questioning him. So now political leaders now started looking for ways to end this lull in political activities. Lull in political activities means what? So after Gandhiji went to jail and the non-cooperation movement was suddenly stopped, there was lack of political activities. No political activity was taking place at that time. Lack of political activities, lull. So Congress leaders, it was under these circumstances that Congress leaders C.R. Das, full name Chittaranjan Das, and Motilal Nehru came up with a plan to revamp the freedom movement. Gandhiji was already in jail, and before going to jail, he had already stopped non-cooperation movement. They proposed that the non-cooperation should be taken from streets within the Legislative Council. Now please understand, when non-cooperation movement was going on, the Congress have decided that they are going to boycott the elections. So if you boycott the elections, you do not become ministers, you do not become member of parliament. So if you do not enter into parliament, how are you going to raise your voice? How are you going to raise the issues? So this group, which was led by C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru, they proposed that instead of doing non-cooperation on streets, why not participate into elections, enter into these legislative councils, and then you can do the same sitting in the parliament. There you can create trouble for the Britishers. They put forward the idea of council entry to wreck the reforms from within. So their idea was that let's get into the parliament, and from within the parliament we can put pressure. But the Congress's official stand was to boycott elections. But the official Congress stand, while the non-cooperation movement was already going on, they have already made it clear. Their official resolution was that we are not going to participate in the elections. So now there are two different thoughts. One group of people, they want to fight elections. The other group, they do not want to fight elections. So while Gandhiji was in jail, there arose difference of opinion between the Congress leaders. What was this difference of opinion about? Actually, elections for central and provincial assemblies were to take place in November 1923. Gandhi was jailed in March 1922. So you can see, after 1.5 years, elections were going to take place, and Gandhiji had asked to boycott those elections. He had told that no Congress member will participate in those elections. One group wanted to end the boycott of elections because Gandhiji had asked to boycott the election and reach the legislative assemblies. Why did they want to reach the legislative assemblies? To create obstruction. So if you reach, so it will become easy for you to create trouble for the British government. You are sitting in parliament. The other group, so one group was of the mood that let's fight election, whereas the other group, they wanted to go with the opinion of Mahatma Gandhi. They wanted to continue the boycott. Congress's official stand was to boycott the election because this call was made by Mahatma Gandhi during non-cooperation movement. So that was the official stand, and Mahatma Gandhi was now in jail. So two groups are there. One wants to fight the election, the other does not want to fight the election. The group that wanted the change in Congress's official stand. So Congress's official stand is, we are not going to fight the election. So those people who want Congress to change its position, that means they want Congress to fight election, they are known as pro-changers. Pro-changers. And the group which did not want to change its official stand, which want to continue with the official stand, who said that we are not going to change up our official stand, they came to be known as no changers. So some prominent pro-changers. Pro-changers means they want to fight elections. Pro-changers. So prominent pro-changers were C.R. Das, Motilal Nehru, and Ajmal Khan. Whereas prominent no-changers means we are not interested in elections, no elections. So prominent no-changers were Sardar Patel, C. Rajgopalachari, and Rajendra Prasad. So Motilal Nehru, father of Jawaharlal Nehru. So what were the arguments given by pro-changers? So pro-changers later on came to be known as Swarajists. Why? Because they formed a separate political entity which was known as Swaraj Party. Swaraj Party. That's why later on they were called as Swarajists. So what was the argument that they gave? Why do they want to fight elections? The Swarajists claimed that the council entry would not go against the non-cooperation movement, because non-cooperation means that you do not want to support the British people. Then you are telling that you want to fight elections and you want to join the assembly, same assembly which is created by British people. So how is that possible? So the Swarajists told that even if we fight election and even if we enter the council, it does not mean that we are going against the idea of non-cooperation. The purpose was, let's enter into the parliament and let's create problems from British government from there itself. So that is also kind of non-cooperation. The Swarajists said that work in the councils was necessary to fill the temporary political void. Because Gandhiji is in jail, no big political movement is going on, then how will the politics of Congress go forward? So they said that let's join elections, let's participate in elections, let's get elected. From there we can continue our political work. So this would keep up the morale of the politicized Indians and enthuse the people. So that will give Congress a revival, give Congress, again Congress will come back in political limelight. And also the people of India who had begun to lose faith in the Congress leadership, they will again feel enthused. By joining the council, Congress could prevent the government from stuffing the council with undesirable elements and getting legitimacy for their laws. What does this mean? It means that if Congress will not enter into this legislative council, British will ensure that someone else reaches there. That means those people who favor the British government, they will manage to enter. So if they enter, it is very harmful for the country as a whole. So to prevent undesirable elements, those who are supporters of British, so to stop them from entering, let's fight elections. The Swarajists claimed that they would transform the legislatures into arenas of political struggle. So these people had the opinion that what you wanted to do on street you want to boycott, we will continue the boycott, but from within these legislative councils. So what was the argument given by no changers? Why didn't the no changers want to fight the elections? The no changers opposed council entry mainly on the grounds that parliamentary work would lead to neglect of constructive and other work among the masses. So these people, the other group, was of the opinion that if we get involved in parliamentary work, or if we involve ourselves in fighting elections, then we will lose focus. Because before going to jail, Mahatma Gandhi have launched several movements like Charkha, Khadi. So the idea of the second group was that forget elections for the time being. Let's first prepare the public. Let's get more and more support from the public. So let's not fight elections now. That was their, goal. It would lead to loss of revolutionary zeal and political corruption. This group also believed that just a few years ago, we have decided, we have told the entire country that we are not going to fight the elections. And if we go back on our words, if we fight election, then it will be loss of revolutionary zeal. Means what? People will not take you seriously. People will not be ready to die on your command. People will think that today Congress says something, tomorrow Congress goes back on its word. So that will be a loss. And also it will lead to political corruption, because if you are fighting election, it will lead to rivalry between different political groups. But here the need of the hour was that every political group should be together in the fight for freedom. The legislatures who would go into the councils with the aim of raking them would gradually give up the politics of obstruction. The second group, this no changer group, said that pro changers say that they will enter and create trouble, but this group believed that slowly, gradually they will also give up the politics of obstruction, because after winning they will become hardcore politicians, they will lose focus, they will become corrupt. Instead of creating obstructions, they will continue with normal politics. So this was the thought process of the second group. They would get sucked into the imperial constitutional framework and start cooperating with the government on petty reforms and piecemeal legislations. So the British government were in the habit of bringing some reforms from time to time. These reforms were not acceptable to Indians. They were not what Indians wanted. So this group thought that if Congress fights elections, joins this legislative council, then sooner or later they will have to agree with these reforms. So if you start agreeing, if you start cooperating with with the government, then where is the question of non-cooperation? Constructive work among the masses, on the other hand, would prepare them for the next round of civil disobedience. This group wanted to continue with the movement. So for that, it was necessary that you be in touch with the public always and prepare them. So these two groups have come head to head. The matter came to a head in December 1922 at the Gaya session of Congress. So as was the tradition, Congress used to hold its annual session in the month of December. So in the year 1922, this meeting was being held at Gaya in Bihar. C.R. Das was the president of the Congress and Motilal was the secretary. Now, both these people were pro-changers. That means both these people wanted to fight elections. So C.R. Das was the president of the Congress and Motilal was the secretary. So now they are, you can say they are the topmost position holders of Congress party. So they put forward the proposal of either mending or ending the councils. That means either you make the working of the councils correct or you do something that the system of legislative council is brought to an end. That means you do something that forces the British people to have only two choices. Either you end this legislative council, you shut down the legislative council, or you start working properly, work properly. The proposal was defeated. So what is meant by mending or ending the council? So to mend it, you have to enter into it. So they were basically saying that let's fight elections. On being outvoted means what? These two people have put forward a proposal for the Congress to decide. So the Congress decided against this proposal. So on being outvoted, C.R. Das announced the formation of Congress, Khilafat, Swaraj party. So the original name of this political party was Congress Khilafat Swaraj Party. Congress means we are still in Congress. We have not left Congress. Khilafat, because Khilafat movement was still going on. So Congress Khilafat Swaraj Party. Swaraj means self-rule. So it was an indication that we are not separating from Congress, but we are simply forming a group within the Congress. Swaraj Party came into formal existence the next day. This formation was announced on 31st December. On 31st December, it was announced that we are going to form a separate group. You can call it party, but that was a party within a party. So Swaraj Party, it was technically named Congress Khilafat Swaraj Party. So to confuse students, many times this question has been asked, who was the founder of Congress Khilafat Swaraj Party? Students don't even understand or don't realize that it is the name of Swaraj Party only. So when did Swaraj Party came into existence? In 1923. When was it announced? So it was announced in 1922. So in most of the question paper, you will see that 1922 is the correct answer, is given as the correct answer, and you will also have to go with that, because technically it was already announced one day ago. C.R. Das became the president and Motilal was made the secretary. So C.R. Das, he was the president of that Congress session as well, and Motilal was the secretary of the Congress session. So now they are forming a separate party. So both these people, C.R. Das became the president and Motilal became the secretary. But Swaraj Party continued to work within the folds of Congress. They did not resign from Congress. They said that we will remain in Congress only and work for our, self-rule Congress Khilafat. It did not claim to be a separate party. It did not even claim that we are a separate political party. That means they were simply trying to put pressure on Congress. So finding a common ground. Now a political party has already been formed and it is still within the Congress. So you have two different group of people who are not agreeing with each other, but still they are members of same political party. Pro changers and no changers, none of them have resigned from Congress. They are in the same party. So you have to come on a common consensus. So under these circumstances, you have to come on a common consensus. Only then you can work together. So the pro-changers and the no-changers were soon engaged in a fierce controversy. That means they kept on fighting among themselves. To avoid the repetition of disastrous Surat split of 1907. So what had happened at Surat split? So the initial days of Congress, it was marked by two groups, extremists and moderates. So extremist leaders like Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandra Pal, so they have been expelled from the Congress in 1907. So that is known as Surat split. So again, the same kind of situation was getting created. These two groups were fighting amongst themselves. So there was chances that what happened in Surat in 1907, same might happen again. That means two groups may separate from each other, resulting in a split of Congress. Both group of leaders began to pull back from the brink, but both these groups, they showed maturity. They did not want to split. So both the groups began to pull back from the brink and move towards mutual accommodation. So now they started, instead of fighting, they started negotiating with each other. The need for unity was felt strongly by all congressmen. They knew that it's not the time to fight, it's time to stay united. Both sides realized the importance of mass movements outside the legislature to compel the government to meet the nationalist demands. So both these groups, so one group was interested in fighting election, the other group was interested in staying away. So at least both groups agreed that whether or not you create problem in legislative assembly, it is always important to do mass movements outside the legislature, because these are pro changers, these are no changers. This group was afraid that when pro changers become ministers and members of parliament, their behavior might change. So before that happens, they agreed on one thing: whether you enter parliament or not, remember one thing, the importance of mass movement outside the legislature. We are not going to give away that. We will continue doing that to compel the government to meet the nationalist demands. Both group of leaders fully accepted the essentiality of Gandhiji's leadership. So both these group, they respected Gandhiji and they said that Gandhiji is our combined leader, joint leader. Both the groups had faith. So keeping these factors in mind, a compromise was reached in a special session of Congress held at Delhi in September of 1923. Gandhiji was still in jail. So both these groups agreed that let's stop fighting. The Swarajists, why are they called Swarajists? Because the name of their party is Swaraj. Congress Khilafat Swaraj Party. The Swarajists were allowed to contest upcoming election because this is what they demanded. So election was about to happen in November of 1923. They have agreed in September 1923 that okay, if your party, your newly formed political group wants to fight election, so we are ready for that. You can fight election. We will not fight election as Congress, because Congress's official stand is we are not going to fight election, but you can fight election as Swaraj Party. So, but the Swaraj Party would have a separate symbol and name. So permission was given to pro changers that you can go and participate in election, but use the name of Swaraj Party. Don't say that Congress is fighting election. So in September, they got the permission to fight the elections, and the elections were to be held in November. That means they got only a month's time. Even though the Swarajists got only a few weeks to prepare for the elections, and the franchisee means what? Those people who are eligible to vote, people who are eligible to vote. So the franchisee was extremely narrow, only 6.2 million. That means not even 1 crore. Why? Because not everyone was allowed to vote. Only if you fulfilled a certain criteria, you were allowed to vote. For example, if you were paying taxes, or if you were staying in, certain there were different criteria based on which, you were either allowed or you were disallowed to vote. So only 3% of Indian population had the right to vote, but still these Swarajist people, they managed to do really good in the elections of 1923. They won 42 out of 101 seats in the Central Legislative Assembly. So it was like Central Parliament. So that was their wish, to somehow enter into Central Parliament and look at their performance. Almost 40% seats of the Central Assembly are won by them. Please remember, these Swarajists are basically congressmen. They have not resigned from Congress. They are simply using the name of the party because the official Congress stand is not to participate in elections. They also got clear majority in Central Province. This is the majority out of 101. That means they emerged as the single largest party. They were also the largest party in Bengal, because elections were held not only for Central Assembly but also for state assemblies. So they became the largest party in Bengal, and they performed very well in Bombay and Uttar Pradesh. Though not in Madras. They could not perform well in Madras because At that time in Madras, people like E.V. Ramaswamy and all, they were a strong casteist movement was going on. In Punjab and Madras, casteist and communal movement going on. That means Hindu-Muslim tension, upper class, lower class tension. So people were not interested in voting for Congress. So that's why Swaraj Party could not perform well in Madras and Punjab. They performed well in Bombay, Uttar Pradesh and Bengal. So in the Central Legislative Assembly, the Swarajists built a joint political front with the independent, because not only Swarajists, several other people have got selected. There are 101 seats, 42 have been occupied by Swarajists. So there are other political leaders as well. So now Swaraj Party forms a coalition with them, forms a political front with the independents like Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the liberals and other individual leaders such as Madan Mohan Malviya. So now they have reached the Central Assembly, they have formed a political front. The victory of the Swarajists at the polls strengthened their position in the Congress as well as against the no changers, because no changers have thought that these people do not have support from public, but they got huge public support. They in fact became the face of Congress. Fine. So this victory, this electoral victory, enhanced their reputation and position in Congress. Now the other group, the no changers, they could not openly oppose these people. They have the backing of the public of India. Public of India have given them votes. Thus, they in effect came to be recognized as the parliamentary wing of Congress. So after this victory, Congress openly supported them and Congress started to say that these are our people. They are like our parliamentary wing. Parliamentary wing means there is a big political party. Political party have lakhs and lakhs of members, but not everybody is a member of parliament. So the group that becomes member of parliament is known as parliamentary wing. So Swaraj Party was given the status of parliamentary wing of Congress. That means Congress fully accepted that these are our people. So now they have entered into the parliament. They have formed a joint coalition. Now what will they do? The Swarajists forced the government to certify legislations repeatedly at the center as well as in many of the provinces. Since they were the biggest political party, so they had big political clout. So as what they have thought and what they have promised, they started delivering on their promise. They forced the government to bring certain legislations at both the central as well as provincial level. So now they are forcing the government to come to do what this political group wants. Very important fact, they succeeded in electing Vitthal Bhai Patel, a leading Swarajist, as the president of Central Assembly. So you have just now seen that they won 42 seats out of 101 seats. So one of these was Vitthal Bhai Patel. So Vitthal Bhai Patel became the president of the Central Legislative Assembly. Very important fact. They continuously outvoted the government on several issues, including the budgetary grants. So outvoted the government. Why? Because out of these 101, so 101 members were elected. The remaining were nominated by the British government. So now 42 seats belong to Swaraj Party. Also they have few other coalition members. So in total they are in majority. So now they can outvote the government. So they have turned themselves into a majority and they outvoted the government on several issues, including the budgetary grants. That means they started demanding more and more budget for education, for agriculture. The government was defeated several times on the question of repeal of repressive laws and regulation and release of political prisoner. So they also demanded release of political prisoner, and as you know, Mahatma Gandhi was finally released in 1924. He was actually arrested and sent to jail in 1922. He was supposed to be released in 1928. But these people, they created so much noise in the Central Assembly that Mahatma Gandhi was released before only, just after 2 years in jail. They defeated the government on a number of bills. So the most important incident was the defeat of government on the Public Safety Bill in 1928. You have to remember, Public Safety Bill of 1928. Through which the government proposed to acquire the power to deport undesirable and subversive foreigners to counter the communist and socialist. So this public safety bill basically meant that not only Britishers but several other foreigners were, coming to India for political purpose. So you must have heard the name of Annie Besant. Was she an Indian? She was not an Indian. She was an Irish lady. So British ruling India did not mean that only Britishers were allowed to enter India. So several other foreigners, foreign powers were also in touch with Congress. So they were, giving support to Congress. So this public safety bill said that we can arrest any foreigner and can deport them, can send them out of country. Any foreigner who is trying to help the communist, socialist or Congress party will be arrested and sent outside the country. So this public safety bill was dropped. They delivered powerful speeches in the legislature to put forward the nationalist demands. Their great achievement lay in their filling the political void at a time when the national movement was recouping its strength. So their biggest achievement was that when nothing politically significant was going on in the country, they were carrying on all these political activities from within the council, from within the legislative council. So some kind of political activity, because of which Congress was always in news. So they have filled the void. They have taken the political acumen in their own hands. So it inspired the politicized persons and kept their political interest alive. Because Congress have said that we are not going to fight election. Swaraj Party said that we will fight election. So those people who are politically inclined, those people who want to join politics, at least have some hope that if not Congress, Swaraj Party will give us ticket. So because of this, political interest of the people was kept intact. So what was Gandhiji's response towards all this? So before Gandhiji was released from jail, Swaraj Party was formed and it had already won elections. So now what happened when Gandhiji was released from jail? Please remember, Gandhiji was released from jail on 5th February 1924. He was arrested in 1922 after the Chauri Chaura incident. He was supposed to be released in 1928, but because of noise made by Swaraj Party only, he got released in 1924 itself. On 6th November 1924, that means 7-8 months after he got released, Gandhiji thought of bringing both these groups together because Gandhiji was impressed with the kind of work these Swarajists were able to do. And Gandhiji also understood that public opinion is with Swaraj Party because 42 out of 101 seats. Also, Gandhiji did not want the Congress to be split again. So by then, Swaraj Party have already given birth to some tall political leaders. So if Congress would have got divided, Congress would have lost its prominence. So now Gandhiji thinks that it's time to bring both these groups together. So Gandhiji issued a joint statement with Das, C.R. Das. He was the president, and Motilal Nehru. Motilal Nehru was the secretary, that the Swarajist party would carry on work in the legislatures on behalf of Congress. That means he gave political legitimacy to Swarajist as being part of Congress only. So Mahatma Gandhi officially issued this statement that yes, Swaraj party is part of Congress only. They are working on our behalf only, and they are integral part of Congress. So many times question has been asked, Swaraj party, it was not an independent party, it was a party within a party. So this decision was endorsed in December at the Belgaum session of Congress, over which Gandhiji presided. So Gandhiji was released from jail in 1924, and it was the session that was held that year was held in Belgaum, Karnataka. As expected, it was held in December. So that session, Gandhiji was made the president. So Gandhiji was the president, and Gandhiji had fully made up his mind that I will make friendship between pro-changers and no-changers. That's why he issued the official statement. You have to remember, it is noteworthy that in his entire life, Gandhiji became president only once. Gandhiji, who was the tallest leader of Congress, became Congress president for the first and the last time at Belgaum session. And what was the major achievement of this session? Split was avoided. Split between pro-changers and no-changer was avoided. Now, how did the party decline? A party that was doing so good, even had the backing of Mahatma Gandhi, but slowly, gradually, the party declined. Why? The enthusiasm of 1924 began to wane, and the years 1925 to 27 saw demoralization and eventual decline of Swarajist. That means when they had started as a political party, they were performing well, they were winning elections, but after 1 year, fatigue set in. People began to lose interest. Even their own political cadre, they were demoralized. There were two reasons for it. The first reason was that they were not a separate political party. They were party within a party. So instead of doing politics of Swaraj party, why not do politics of Congress? So working for Congress was a better proposition than working for Swaraj party. So also the other reason was the political operation, because the Britishers went after Swaraj party. So instead of Congress, now their main target was Swaraj. So because of all these, their cadre, their party members were feeling demoralized, and it led to eventual decline of Swarajists. But there were other reasons as well. The Swarajists suffered a major loss when C.R. Das died on 16th of June 1925. C.R. Das was the founder. Now the founder is dead. Widespread communal rights across the country, actively encouraged by colonial authorities, also weakened the Swarajist position. So you remember that Swaraj have won everywhere, but they could not win in Punjab and Madras, because in Punjab and Madras communal tensions were going on, and gradually large scale rioting started to take place. So if rioting takes place, communal tension takes place, then what is the problem with Swaraj party? Swaraj party was representing Congress, it was working within Congress. So new political parties started to take politics into their hand. So if Hindus and Muslims are fighting, so new political parties who support only Hindus and new political parties which support only Muslims get formed. So polarization is there, and under such circumstances, the importance of Swaraj party started to reduce. The government's policy of creating dissension among the nationalists began to bear fruit. Also, the government was plotting so that these two groups keep on fighting. So their rift, divide and rule policy also seemed to be working. There was also a split among the Swarajists themselves on communal and responsivist, non-responsivist lines. So communal tensions were going on between Hindus and Muslims, between upper caste and lower caste. So the politicians of Swaraj party, some thought that let's tackle this issue, some said that let's avoid this issue. So because of this, there was a split amongst themselves. The responsivists among Swarajists like N.C. Kelkar, M.R. Jakar wanted the government to work the reforms and hold office wherever possible. So now they wanted that let's join, let's negotiate with the government and let's keep on asking for reforms. Responsivist means they believed that British government is responsive. They will respond to our demands. Other leaders such as Lajpat Rai and Madan Mohan Malviya too separated themselves from the Swaraj party on responsivist as well as communal ground. So this is how big leaders of Swaraj party, C.R. Das was dead, the other tall leaders, they were leaving Swaraj party. So that's how it came to a decline. Gandhiji too had resumed his critique of council entry. So later on, Gandhiji again started to give his opinion that let's boycott councils again, boycott the councils. And Swaraj party was formed with this, because of this issue only. So again, Gandhiji says something which is not liked by Swaraj party. So while the Swarajists and Gandhian constructive workers were quite active in their own separate ways, there simultaneously prevailed virulent factionalism and indiscipline in both the camps. So Swarajists, they are more interested in fighting election. The other group involved in constructive work like distributing charkha, khadi. So these two groups were already fighting against each other, and now they were working in their own separate ways. That means there was lack of coordination. There simultaneously prevailed virulent factionalism and indiscipline in both camps. The announcement of Simon Commission in the closing months of 1927 and Lord Birkenhead's challenge. Lord Birkenhead was Secretary of State for India. That means he had an office in London. Sitting in London, he used to take care of Indian activities. So Simon Commission was about to come. So purpose of Simon Commission was to go to India and discuss about future constitution. So this Secretary of State, Lord Birkenhead, challenged the Indians to produce a constitution which is acceptable to all sections of the society. So now, because Indians have said that they are going to boycott Simon. So Lord Birkenhead said that you want to boycott Simon, then do you have the capability to make a constitution by deciding amongst yourself? If you have the capability, please do that. The Simon Commission evoked universal boycott, while Motilal took up the challenge of Lord Birkenhead, because Lord Birkenhead had challenged that you cannot you don't have the capability to make a constitution. So Motilal Nehru, who was a leader of Swaraj party, took up that challenge and he prepared a constitution which came to be known as Nehru Report. So these are the major contributions. The Swarajists and the no changers began to draw closer to one another. So now, external difficulties are coming. Simon Commission is coming. So these two people, they are now supporting each other. They have to come together to fight the British. So they are coming closer to each other, Swarajists and no changers. The Calcutta Congress of 1928. Please remember, C.R. Das is already dead. Motilal Nehru is active. So The Calcutta Congress of 1928 resolved that in case the British government did not accept the Nehru report, what was Nehru report? It was prepared by Motilal Nehru in response to Lord Birkenhead's challenge that you Indians are not smart enough to make a constitution. So now the Congress is challenging the British government that if you do not accept the report prepared by Motilal Nehru by 31st December 1929, the Congress would declare complete independence as its goal. So this is how actually civil disobedience movement of 1930 started, because the deadline given was 31st December 1929. The next day onward, problem started. The council entry program in the changed political situation occupied a back seat and lost its relevance. So now that you are fighting for constitutional reforms, so where does the question comes of fighting elections? So the question of whether or not to fight election took a back seat. It was no more a debatable question, because there were bigger fights to fight, bigger problems to tackle. So you can understand that now Swarajists and no changers have no reason to fight with each other, because the issue is dead. The Swaraj party now merged with the Congress. Now they will officially merge with the Congress. Earlier they were an integral part of the Congress, this, that, but now they are officially merging with the Congress as the country began to prepare for the second round of direct mass action to achieve its political independence. So they finally merged in 1929 because India was about to launch civil disobedience movement. So that's why there was no need for two separate parties. So let's merge.